Hi, this is A. Wesley. Dang, you tells it like a CIA. If you like my video, please give a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Topic I'm going to talk to you today about is Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, episode 9 and 10. Episode 9 is The Soup Man. Episode 10 is Out of Gas. Now, episode 9 started off with Whitney in her kitchen talking to Justin, and she was saying, Justin, because by our business going out, by our business going out of business, and like I said, I was trying to have a good girl persona because of your business stuff. But since the business is going out, I want to get back to the way I was, carefree and having fun. He said, oh, okay. She said, I want to have an event. Excuse me, I want to have an event for the girls. And he said, what kind of event? She said, I want to have a kind of flower event. We can have fun and laughter and all that stuff. And Justin was saying, are you sure you're gonna be able to do that with these ladies? She said, yeah, yeah. He said, but what if they get to acting up? She said, hopefully they don't get to act up and stuff like that. Hopefully they'll all be on their best behavior. He said, okay, go ahead and set up. Next thing you know, they showed the people bringing in the flowers, and Whitney was there checking out everything. And she said everything looked good, looked fine. And then right there, the lady started coming. It was Heather. I think it was Heather came first. Said, "Ooh, Whitney, it looks good. It looks nice." And next thing you know, Broadwin came. Broadwin said, "Ooh, this is very festive. Very festive." Everybody was looking at Broadwin's outfit because it didn't match the theme that she was going. And then Mary came in and said, why would she want to have a thing at this place? I heard stories about this place, about a man who killed himself with his wife and stuff like that. And the producer said, are you sure that's this? That's the story I heard. That story I heard. And then, um, and then Meredith came in and everybody got to looking. And then Harry said, what is this? Marriage got on. This doesn't go nothing with the theme. The theme is supposed to be a garden party. She ain't moved nothing like it. And Mary said, "Woo, what is marriage wearing? It looked like what you say a virus or fungus or something." But anyway, she said, "Oh, all the ladies have arrived." And Lisa was the last one to come. Say, "All the ladies have arrived." Layla said, "Ooh," she had a little speech. Said, "Ooh, thank y'all for coming. Thank y'all for coming. I enjoy everybody coming." And she said, "I'm glad y'all came to my event and stuff." And she said, this was for me to have a to have a to celebrate to celebrate to celebrate me starting anew, me starting afresh, like a refresher. And I want to go back to my old self where I was having fun and laughter and stuff with you ladies and stuff. And she was saying, I'm glad you all came. I'm glad you're here. She said, oh, I also invited a spiritual intuitive. And I said, spiritual intuitive. And then Heather said, what? Heather said, huh? What? She said, is that kind of like a psychic? And when they said, well, yes, yeah, kind of similar, but not a psychic. And then she said, is it a palm reader? She said, no, not a palm reader. Like I said, more of a type of a psychic type of person, but not really. And then so she said he's gonna do what's called. And then Barbara said, ooh, I had somebody I went to somebody one time and she read tarot cards. And there's another person I went to and then what you call said, well, if he's a psychic, ever heard was saying a convertible, well, he's a psychic, I wouldn't mind him reading me, telling me stuff like that and stuff like that. And so they got to sit down and tell you say, she said, we were gonna have drawing and laughter and everything and stuff like that. And she said, the spiritual intuitor is gonna read everybody. We're gonna have reading sessions, and everybody gonna go one at a time. And she said, bro, you can go. And then Mary, and she said, Mary, do you want to go? Mary said, no, I'll pass on that. She said, Mary, why you don't want to go and to the spiritual intuitor? Mary said in her confession, she said, honey, the Bible says, be careful of sex. Don't believe nothing sex say. And so, in the Bible, a sex is somebody who misrepresentate the Bible and say evil things. and stuff. It's kind of like you're not supposed to believe these people who do this psychic stuff and terrorism stuff. I mean, psychic stuff, psychic reading and stuff. And so Mary said, yeah, sometimes the devil speaks to people too. And I'm not going to say, well, let's toast, let's have a toast before everybody go get their reading. Everybody toasting, and when they say, Mary, you're not gonna drink anything. You're not. Mary said, no, I don't want no toast. I passed on that. Y'all go on it. And so she said, who want to do the first reading? And Heather said, well, I'll do the first reading. So Heather went up in there. And while Heather was in there, they was talking. And Angie said, Mary, I'm not gonna be living between you and Brittany anymore. I'm moving. I'm moving. I'm gonna move to a bigger neighborhood, a better neighborhood, and stuff like that. And it's gonna be much bigger and much fancier and much richer than where we were at now. Mary said, "Oh, okay." Brittany was standing to her phone. He said, what? You selling your house? Why come you didn't tell me that you were selling your house? I'm a realtor. I'm a realtor. She said, I already got a realtor. I got my son's realtor, and stuff like that. We're going to set the house. And then Lisa chimed in and said, well, the neighborhood that you moving from, that was an upscale neighborhood, but the one you moving into, it's all right. But the most expensive property is some property called down there for whatever it was. I can't remember. And she said, no, that's not the richest property. I looked at it, I said, y'all sit up here fussing over who gonna stay in the richest property and all that kind of stuff. And then Brittany made a big deal about her wanting to be the realtor. Brittany, the woman I already told you she had a realtor. Why is you trying to force yourself on her? She really don't want you to talk about her in her house and stuff like that. And then and then after that, she said, well, I know it went back and forth. And then now I don't want to talk about the reading. And then it went to the next point. And then the next point said, well, and then said, well, like I said, I won't be saying there no more. And Mary said, well, okay. And then it said, and he said, yeah. She said, yeah. Lisa, I don't know why you had a problem with me. She said, at your party, I thought me and you had made up weeks ago, but at your party, you kept saying all that stuff about me and talking about me and my husband, my family, and stuff like that. And then you send your assistant up there to pick up your stuff, and then you said on the internet that my salon was nasty and dirty and it was dusty, had dust on stuff, and stuff had been sitting up, and she said, what is? I brought all your stuff that you gave to me back to me, and I gave it back to you, and what you did, you turned around and wrote me a check back for the stuff that I had paid for. And she said, well, you didn't act like you wanted it. That was at least you didn't act like you wanted it. So when you said you didn't want it, I just sent my assistant up there to pick it up. And when I got the box, it was a little dust. My place is clean. My place is clean. My place, and he got the organ back and forth. He said, you always lying on me. And then and then and then Angie said, no, I didn't lie on you. I just told you what you said, what you talked about me and stuff. She said, I don't know what your problem with me. And she said, I just told you your problem with me. You'll make up with me, and then you'll get on the internet and say snide remarks and stuff and stuff. And so they kept going back and forth. And then Lisa said, well, I ain't got time for this. I'm finna go. I'm finna go. And she said, no, I don't go. And then just as she was arguing, Whitney came out there and said, Lisa, you next. And then Lisa went to read with the what's called. And so he was telling her about her family and all that stuff about her problems with her and her husband. Anyway, I went back to her thing and she was saying, yeah, she's always doing that. She's always doing that. And coming back to me and saying that stuff. And then Heather said, well, Angie, she's been doing that to everybody in the group, but she'll say something and play like she's the victim. It's not just you. It's not just you. She said, yeah, but I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to take it. I'm going to speak up for myself. I'm going to talk. And Heather said, we don't mind you speaking up for yourself. And Broadway said, yeah, but y'all been going at it back and forth, back and forth. Y'all need to move on from this for something like that. She said, well, when I try to move on, Lisa keep going back, and stuff like that. I don't even know if Lisa really want to be my friend. And there's a Mary said, bro, I mean, Mary said, Angie, don't let her get you upset like that. Just don't worry about it no more. You ain't got to say, I am. So Melissa came back out and she said, well, I came back out, and what is the deck cycle was right on the money about me and John having problems and the kids and stuff like that. And so and we have stuff with our finances too. She said, yeah, that's why you send me the check back. You have stuff with finances. That's why you had all them cases. She said, Angie, we had already discussed that in the last thing. She said, well, you keep talking about stuff and saying stuff about my family and stuff like that. And Lisa said, well, I'm tired of you. I'm tired of you. She said, well, I'm tired of you. You keep on lying back and forth, lying back. Lisa said, I ain't got time to deal with this. I ain't got time to deal with this. And then so she said, if you, she said, if you don't sit down, I'm gonna come over there and pull your ear and put all your stuff out. You left Angie was saying. And Lisa said, you the one need to sit down, Angie. You the one always jumping up, jumping up. I don't have to do nothing. And Lisa said, don't you point your finger at me. And Angie said, well, you did this thing. And then and Lisa said, I'm gonna walk out, I'm gonna walk out. Mary said, no, no. She said, no, no, Lisa, come back a little. Mary had Lisa in the car. She said, Mary said, Lisa, calm down, calm down. I'm not coming down. She the one she calm down. And Mary said, Lisa, you got to be the bigger person. You got to be the leader. You got to show her. You got to show her. And because Mary was telling her the truth, and Lisa just wanted to keep on arguing and stuff, she looked at Mary, oh, gave her, oh, you're so inspirational. He said, well, go come back here and sit down. What you doing? I'm not coming back here. I'm not coming back here. She keep on arguing me, keep on lying to me, keep on talking about our family stuff. I'm finna go, I'm finna go. Heather said, come back here, Lisa, come back. Lisa didn't come back. And he said, no, Lisa, don't go, don't go. And they said, I'm not gonna let you bully me. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not gonna let you bully me. And then Mary said, calm down, calm down, Angie. And then Angie jumped up to see what Mary and them was saying. He said, calm down. She said, calm down. Don't never let nobody take you out like that. She said, don't never let Lisa get to you like that, Angie. You better than this. You stronger than this. Yeah, I know I'm better than I'm stronger than this. But all y'all want me to kiss up to Lisa, and I'm not gonna do it. When somebody bully me, I'm gonna fight back. And then so Heather said, Heather said, we're not telling you to not fight back and take up for yourself. We're just telling you to do it in a more calm manner. And 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 Broadway said her thing. It's like in a comparison, it's like a hamster wheel, a hamster wheel. Next thing you know, she said, all of y'all turned against me. All of y'all then flipped on me, including you, Mary. Mary said, huh? What? What you say again? I flipped on you. Mary said, no, I ain't never flipped on you. She said, that's okay, Angie. I'm through with you. Bye. And then Angie said, I'm through with you too, Mary. Bye. And that was the end of 9. 10, I'm gonna be right back. I'll be right back with